Mary London. First one in the room. Good to see you, Cheryl. Happy Wednesday. You always get our two who never comment. You think a bad tourist, thanks for reading the title, Adam. Think a bad tourist is as demanding? Yes. That's a first for you, okay. Good to see you in New York. Happy Wednesday. Happy middle of the week. So, I have like 45 minutes to kill. So, I have seen some incredibly bad examples of what it's like to be a tourist today. Good to see you there, Susie May. Good to see you, Karen. Terrible examples. Good tourists tip, absolutely. Good tourists always tip. At least 10%. They don't get the change out of their pockets. I've actually had a tourist tell me, I have too much pocket change. He gives me all his quarters and nickels and dimes. I think he tipped me like not even $2. That's like a borderline bad tourist. Good to see you, 80s music fan. No, the bad tourists are the ones that are oblivious to their surroundings. The absolute worst though, is when they put their young children in danger. And as I was finishing up my 12 o'clock tour just now, there were people who were just walking up the streets, and they had a toddler with them, and the toddler was loose running around. And what was kind of amazing was that the toddler ended up behind a city bus. Now, mind you, the city bus at first did not have a driver in it because where we do our bicycle tours, this is where the beginning and the end of a couple of bus routes are. But the child was standing behind the bus in the streets while the parents kind of fumbled with their cell phones and maps and stuff like that, trying to figure out their next move. And then the bus starts up, and I'm looking around like, are they gonna like tell this kid to come back? And no, they let the kid stand there, and then the bus starts backing up. So of course, me being a responsible human being, decides to actually grab the child and take the child out of the streets. Parents did not even see me do that. And then I'm like, look, the bus is backing up. And they responded with a laugh. It's so funny, our child almost got crushed by a bus. At least they didn't have the child on a leash, but for God's sake, watch the kids. Watch the kids. But they thought it was the funniest thing. Good to see him, Gail. You're here with some of your students. Awesome. Hello, students. I am sitting in City Hall Park. I am in Park Row. The women with push chairs on their phones piss you off? Yeah. Beyond negligent, Adam. I mean, this child was a toddler. I think this child was maybe 5 years old, maybe 4 years old. Yes, I do. I gotta wait. Good to see you, Josh. I gotta wait until 45 past the hour, and then I gotta go back to work. So I'm doing the 4 o'clock tour. I do not like doing the 4 o'clock tour because it's rush hour, and I have to deal with people commuting, and that's when the bridge is the most crowded. Is right now. It is a damn shame. You know what? It's hit or miss. I've had tourists from the States be the rudest motherfuckers around, and I've had people from Europe be the rudest motherfuckers around. And the buses do have a loud beeping sound. When the bus started making the beeping sound, that's when I grabbed the child and took the child out of the streets. But I think the most consistent rude or just in their own world tourist, I hate to say this, are tourists from China and tourists from Brazil. They seem to just want to do their own thing, even though they know they're in a group. They will hold up the group for their own purposes. They never tip. They almost never tip. But like I've had some rude people from all countries, really. The people with the least amount of rude people, I would say, is the people from either the Netherlands or Belgium. They tend to be really nice. Germans I like because they're on time. They're always on time. People from the UK are in general on time, but a lot more laid back, which I like. Tourists from the States, it's either they're especially for a bicycle tour, they're like ready to go and they think they're gonna like bicycle and be like Lance Armstrong for 2 hours. And then you have other ones who have no clue what we're about to do. And the ones I like are ones right in the middle who know how to ride a bike halfway decently. And but tourists who don't tip from the States they should know better. But today is just like this whole human existence on display today. I mean, just everything from like very considerate tourists to completely belligerent ones. Wepa, good to see you, Osvaldo. Yeah, Germans and Polish people, yes, Polish. I don't get too many Poles on my tour. Good to see you, Wilbs. I don't get too many Poles on my tour. Absolutely, yes. There are more good people in the world than bad, absolutely. Yeah, no, Chinese tourists are on an other level of rude because they kind of play it off that they don't know what they're doing. Meanwhile, they know exactly what they're doing, whether it be standing in the middle of Broadway to take a selfie while the light is green for the cars, or the best I saw, you know, what I get a lot is when we're over in Brooklyn Bridge Park and we'll have these big groups of Chinese tourists come into the park, and there's like 50 of them, and they'll just grab my bikes. And then I'll be like, that's not for you. And they're like, oh yeah, it's bike share. It's like, no, it's not bike share. And then to top it off, their guide, who is from China, doesn't know that those are my bikes on my tour. And then there'll be like a little bit of a back and forth. And they just seem to just do what they want. You know, like they'll take the cake before they pay, if you know what I mean. And Indian people too. Indian people tend to be, especially families, tend to be in their own little world. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I did have to kick off a Indian family off my bicycle tour because the wife and the children could not ride bikes for the life of them. And the father was like, oh no, it's a leisure ride, it's fine. And I'm like, no, we have another a dozen people here from the Netherlands and France, and you could tell these were people who rode and who could ride, and they were going to get stuck with this Indian family who were just going to just say like, just riding their bikes, la-di-da. It's dangerous, folks. Good to see you, Abby. It's dangerous, but today, like I had some people from the Netherlands this afternoon at the 12 o'clock tour who were very considerate. They were really, really nice people. They were almost too nice because they kept on like apologizing for me to take their picture. And I'm like, that's what I'm here for. Remember that tour guides are there to take your picture. Don't be shy. Ask them a question. This is what we're here for. We are here to take your picture and kill time. Like we're doing right now in this YouTube video. But then you have other tourists that kind of make it about like themselves. So like it doesn't matter how big the crowd is. They will always kind of focus everything on themselves. So like I had a woman who was by herself, and she was very adamant on telling me that I'm a triathlete and I do this and I do that and I could run 50 miles, and the minute we got out into the street, I can't ride a bike in traffic. This is scary. And I'm like, well, this is what you signed up for. And it's funny how sometimes people are willing to, you know, take one for the team, if you will. And then you have others that it's all about them. And especially if you're in a big group, folks, if you're in a big group on a tour with lots of other tourists and you're by yourself, if you're in a big group with a lot of people and you're by yourself, don't make it about yourself. So don't occupy the tour guide, don't occupy all the tour guide's time with random questions. I mean, there are times that you could ask tour guides questions along the ride, along the walking tour, but don't completely occupy him and then make it like a one-on-one conversation. That's very rude to the other guests. And I've had people do that, especially on in like Central Park walking tour. I've had people because they're I guess they're traveling alone. I get it. And Abby, that is life's question. Here I am, barely 40 years old. Look at all this white hair. This is because of people who don't know how to ride a bike on a bicycle tour. This is proof positive. Because they think they're going to learn how to ride a bike on a bicycle tour. It doesn't work that way. Exactly, yeah. Please remember to tip the driver. Exactly, Wilbs. It's all good to see you, Jan. It's always good to know customs, like there's areas where I went to in Sri Lanka. I'm not allowed to wear shorts. You're not allowed to show your legs because it's just the way it is. Little things like that. I'm only 27, exactly. I'm only 27, folks. For tax purposes, I'm 27. But like, there's little things like, you should get yourself acquainted with some of the customs. Like here in the United States, tipping is very important, especially for people who do the food service industry. Not necessarily myself. I mean, I get paid pretty good considering what I do. Tips are always appreciated. Never, always appreciated, never assumed or whatever. So good to see you, Chrissy. But I have seen so much unbelievable ridiculousness on display today. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. It's kind of amazing when people don't tip. When I don't get tipped, especially if I know the guest had a good time. It's always weird when that happens because sometimes, what's really funny is sometimes the tourists want to leave so fast because they don't want to tip me because I guess they're embarrassed or whatever, that they'll forget stuff at our office. And so I think 10 to 20% is really good starting. So like for a tour guide, if the tour is like $35, $40, $5 a person is perfectly fine. That's actually very good. $10 is nice. $10 for two people or $10 a person is really, really good. Yes, exactly. From Strays. I got to shave. Getting warm out here. But like, it's funny when tourists don't want to tip and then they just leave quick and then they forget stuff on the bike or whatever and then they got to come crawling back and I'm like, yeah, here it is. Here you go. I was looking out for your stuff even though you didn't tip me. Or the worst was, and I think I told the story many times, of where I had a family from France, and it was a family of 4. They had children in their 20s. Yeah, it happens, Mary. I'm used to it. I know. Don't get me, Wilbs. Don't get me started. That's age. Ugh. People who don't want to wait in a line. Wait, I'm going to address that in a second too. So, I had a family from France. Now it's like 3 years ago, I want to say. I did a Periscope about it. And at the end of the tour, the French father had to make a point in front of the whole group. And he goes, I just want to let everyone know that I am not tipping the guide because the guide should be paid a living wage. And in France, we pay a living wage. So I am not going to tip the guide. And he let everyone know that he wasn't going to tip me. And the funny thing about that was that we had people from like the UK and like Copenhagen and stuff like that. It got everyone so upset. Everyone got so upset that I actually made a really good tips. Yeah, people who cut in line suck. Good to see you, precious gem. Who hired me to be tour guide, a company here in New York City. Good to see you there, Griff. I can't give out the company anymore because people like calling my company now, looking for me. So I can't tell you where I work for now. So people have called my job looking for me. So now I can't tell you where I work. So yeah, most people don't like lines. But yeah, if you cut in line, that's just being a shitty human being. Never cut in line. Try to figure out where the lines are. There is a way to do this. People do suck, Jim. Good to see you. It's beautiful. It's probably beautiful down. Are you in Coney Island? Probably beautiful down there. It's probably beautiful down there. Remember, Friday, early, I think 12 noon on Friday, we're going to do some radio on Twitch. But what do you think that'll be good advertising for my computer? For my company? No. Frisbee tomorrow, nice. Unlimited Frisbee tomorrow, awesome. Now, if you want to come on my tour, you direct message me on Twitter like a normal human being. Have a normal message saying that you want to come on my tour. Not that you're just going to show up somewhere and, yeah. There's a certain decorum that you need to keep, that you need to have. Ultimate, that's right, Ultimate Frisbee tomorrow. Ultimate Frisbee tomorrow. Coney Island. Yeah, unlimited Frisbee. Unlimited Frisbee. Everyone unlimited. I think so, Wilbs. I think so. Remember, it's on Twitch. It's on Twitch. I gotta figure out how to make clips. There's a way I can make clips of the radio show, and evidently everyone's watching just one clip of the radio show right now. So tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, tomorrow's Thursday. So one more day of doing these one more day of doing tours. And then Friday, I have off Saturday, so I have the weekend off. Going back out to Fort Tilden on Sunday. People are doing another beach ride out there, so I'm going to go out there again, do a beach ride. But folks, it's not hard to be a decent human being. Yeah, it's going to be over 100. Nice. Nice. I guess the mayor is coming around here. We're having lots of protests here in Lower Manhattan in honor of Eric Gardner, so they have the police are running around like crazy. You'll be ready for Friday? Me too. Friday's going to be fun. Friday, we're going to do fireworks, and then we're going to go over to the amphitheater, and we're going to hear some Fela Kuti cover band. So we're going to get some Afro pop. It seems to be. Am I on the west side of Central Park? No, I'm in Lower Manhattan in City Hall Park. I'm in City Hall Park. It's been a year since you tossed a Frisbee. Yeah, I'm in downtown. I'm downtown. Yeah, it was 100 degrees this last weekend here in New York. And I was so happy I had off of work. Yeah, I'm downtown. This is where I work. I'll let you know where I work. Downtown. That's where I work. Actually, the Woolworth building is, well, if this tree wasn't here, you'd be able to see the Woolworth building. I'm in City Hall Park, where it's lots of, the humidity does suck, but up here in New York right now, it's not too humid today. Good to see you, Meg. Not too humid today in New York, which is nice. Feels like the humidity is actually coming down as the day continues on. Gotta try to keep off the grass. The grass is dirty over here anyway. It's full of bird poop. Yet 90 days to go. That's right. And then it's gonna be October and we're hanging out. Really? You don't have air conditioning in your building? I heard about they're talking about bringing Woolworths back. They're bringing Toys R Us back. But yeah, it's not hard to be a decent human being. So if you come out here and visit especially New York City, figure out some of the customs, if you will. If there is a line for something, wait in line, be patient. Don't cut in line. Or more importantly, don't be ignorant. Don't be like, I don't know where the line is, and then you're obviously cutting the line. That's what people seem to do nowadays. They just play ignorant and they play dumb. I do have a tour. Yes, I have a tour in about a half hour. One more tour for me. I'm doing the afternoon tours. Exactly. It won't be Woolworths unless it has that cafeteria with that. Everyone remembers that cafeteria smell in Woolworths. You like the Toys R Us with the Ferris wheel? That was Times Square. Us New Yorkers try to avoid Times Square, but I'll admit that That Ferris wheel was pretty cool. I would admit that. That's right. That's true. Yeah, it's built for the cold, not the heat. That's true. You know what? Where I went in the Netherlands, though, well, then again, it was November when I went to the Netherlands, so it snowed at one point when I was up there. So I don't remember. I don't remember. Well, it was November. I think some places had air conditioning, but they were like modern buildings. The heat is zapping. Yes, the heat does zap you. This is why if you come on a bicycle tour, you got to know your limits. You got to be able to be active for at least 2 hours. You know, some of these tours go longer than 2 hours. Bring a gift. There you go. But you can't get a small little window air conditioner for like 100 euro or 90 euro. I mean, that's up here in New York. We could get an air conditioner to be put in a window for like $100. So was that 90 euro? Just a little one, or you get a little indoor one. The indoor air conditioners are nice too, because then you can just wheel it away and put it in like a closet somewhere. I believe some Woolworths had a pet shop. I want to say some did. They had the good ones had cafeterias, like little coffee shops in the back, and I'll never forget the smell of it. I will never forget the smell of it. It had a smell and it was right by the toys. So, really, wow, that's very expensive. Thank God for air conditioning in the Northern Line, right? Hells yeah. You have ice air coolers. Really, isn't wired well enough for ACs? So everyone's gonna be blowing circuits. Everyone's gonna be blowing surge protectors. I didn't know that. They really are meant for the cold. Holy cow! Good to see you, Duty Ron. How you doing, man? Really, there's a Woolworths in California, and they kept the cafeteria. Duty Ron, we're remembering Woolworths and the coffee shops that used to be in there. You remember that? You're right. There was a pet section, right? There was like parakeets and fish, right? Yeah, I remember that. Oh man, let's go to Woolworths. Let's go to Ames. Let's go to Alexander's. Let's go to Mays. Let's go to Abraham and Strauss. Let's go to Abraham and Strauss. Let's go to no, I'm about to say Passmark is still around. Yeah, Woolworths closed all those years ago. All those years ago, we lost our Woolworths. So many great stores we have lost over the years. Like this one right across the street from me, right over here. That's JNR Music World, right across the street over there. I used to always buy my hard drives in JNR Music World. That was the only place I would buy hard drives, was JNR Music World. Because every time I got a hard drive from there, it never failed. It was the cheapest on the market. It was cheaper than B&H. And I could just go in there, in and out in 10 minutes because I don't like talking to people and like I always want to buy something, go in and leave. Oh, it's in Bakersfield, California. Nice. I want to go to Bakersfield, California, go to Woolworths. Don't you miss JNR, Jim? The music section for the win. Oh my God. This is the music section, by the way. This new building right here. This is the music section. This new building that's rising. It's going to be like 40 stories tall, some stupid like that. I know. He was in Hellraiser, right? What was the movie he was in? I think he was in Hellraiser. All the actors. Comes in threes. We lost a couple of good ones this weekend. Or now this week. It's Wednesday. Still feels like the weekend to me. Blade Runner. Here, he was in Blade Runner. Yeah, sad. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's life. This is why, but getting back to the point of this video here, it's easy to be a shitty human being. It takes a little bit of work to be a halfway decent one. To put a little bit of effort into it and be a halfway decent human being. It's not hard. It's not hard. You know, it's like Sam Goody. Now, the Sam Goody I remember, and probably Coney Island Jim and Duty Ron remember. I remember the Sam Goody inside the World Trade Center, over on the Liberty Street side of it. I'll never forget that place. It was right near Borders. There was a Borders Books in there too. And I would always, I would go into Sam Goody here at the World Trade Center for like blank cassette tapes. I would go in, you could buy a big box of them, like a box of 100 of them for like $10. And then when I started getting into collecting CDs, I would go to either JNR Music World or Sam Goody or even Borders or whatever. You remember it well, right? Me too. I can remember the corridor. I remember the hallway and the corridor and how you got from Sam Goody to the R train. Like, it's all like right there in my. It's like it's still there actually in my brain. It feels like it's still there. Right, the TDK tapes. That's right, the TDK tape. And then Tower Records. Oh my God, Tower Records. 4th Street and Broadway. Tower Records. Oh my God. That was the spot. That was the spot. I mean, I look back at Tower Records more fondly than the what was it? The Virgin Megastore. Like, the Virgin Megastore was kind of cool. Like, they had like a coffee shop in there. The 14th Street one was a lot better. It had a better selection of music and books than the one up in Times Square. But then again, Times Square, you might find something that you can't find anywhere else. But Tower freaking Records was the king. Oh my God! Then they had the separate VHS/DVD store on Lafayette, a block over. And now it's the Tower Records on 4th Street and Broadway, I believe. It's some kind of television studio. It's some kind of weird media place. Yes, Virgin had the best imports. Correct, Jim. Yes, and HMV rocked that for a while too. I went to the HMV over in the one I remember is over in what's the name of that place? It's like 51st Street, Rockefeller Center. There was one in Rockefeller Center that I went to all the time. Good to see you, Jackie. You know, I don't know what HMV stands for. I don't know. Hughes Music and Videos? Huge Music and Videos? Maybe it's Huge Music and Videos. Or Howard Hughes Music and Videos. Oh, his master's voice! Ah! His master's voice. See, when I think of HMV too, I think of FYI. Is FYI even still around? Everyone knows his master's voice. Holy cow. His master's voice. Maxwell was the best at playing tapes. RCA and their tagline was the dog and Victrola. The dogs and their Victrolas. Oh, the good old days, man. Simple. Put the radio on. Nobody listens to the radio anymore. Like, I keep on telling people, I keep on hearing this conversation about, Pandora, they play the same thing all over again, and the Spotify, they play the same thing all over again. I'm like, folks, it's not hard to go on the internet and find actual radio stations that play amazing music with very few commercials. Right? Your dog listening to the gramophone. Good to see you, Boozy. Boozy drinking that good beer today. Right, listen to AM radio. AM radio, there's nothing wrong with AM radio. 77, WABC, 77. I still have a VCR that works. But that's only because I have it for work. I could convert VHS tapes to digital files. But the only problem with that is when I do that, I have to watch whatever's on the VHS tape. So whenever I do transfers, it's boring as hell. Who remembers 8-track? I still have an 8-track. You got a dual VCR? What? You got a dual VCR? Bloody hell. Only good humans have dual VCR. Making dupes for your friends. Making dupes for their friends. It's always fun. Oh, there you go. You're really dating yourself, Duty Ron. Okay. You're really dating yourself.
Today?
Sorry, man.
3,000 burning bodies is no joke. Respect us,
okay.
Right?
Yes.
Wasn't a joke then.
No. I don't know what's the tape's supposed to be worn out. He's so yeah, 3,000 dead bodies isn't no joke. I don't know why he's going around asking for money like that. I mean, September 11th, not fun. Yeah, you saw my face. I was reacting, trying to react in a realistic kind of way. He was very colorful, to say the least. He was very colorful. But you used to have a friend in college with a car 8-track. Now you're really dating yourself with a car 8-track tape. It's a good thing you wasn't there. I know, Duty Ron. I prefer the pimp. You remember the pimp guy? He's always around here. The other day, Boozy, he was wearing this. Mind you, it's hot out here. It's summertime. He was wearing this blue fur suit with a massive blue fur fedora hat. And it was like a baby blue. It wasn't like no dark blue. It was like a baby blue. And he's just walking with his cane and he's like looking for his bitches. The pimp with the fishbowl shoes. Yes, he is always he is the best dressed man in Lower Manhattan, guaranteed. Oh my God. Oh my. Albie, fur, like real, like thick fur, like we could be out in the wintertime kind of fur. And he's walking with his pimp cane, with status, with style. Right, you know, Duty Ron, you've been to Lower Manhattan. You know, you come down here for work. You know what I'm. This guy has been around in this neighborhood since the 90s. This is what I remember him, since the 90s. Like, he has a suit. I know he has a cheetah, like a leopard suit that he wears, keeping his hose in check in Lower Manhattan. Oh my God. His pimp game is extremely strong. Oh my God. It's the characters like that it's like, you know, that's what never makes me tired of New York. I never get tired of New York because of characters like that. And now our friend is playing, he's playing the instrument of the art. It's made of aluminum or metal and it's hollow. Anyway. Oh man, New York. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do, Wilbs. Yes, you do. You always see. It wouldn't be the city if you didn't see crazy stuff, you know. So, Duty Ron, what would you have done if somebody had a toddler running loose on the sidewalk, going into the street behind the city bus? The city bus begins to back up. I grab the child, get the child out of the street. And then the parents respond with a what would you have done? I was like, this is serious. This is New York. You do not let your toddlers run loose in the street. I wanted to like reprimand them, but I still had my guests with me, so I couldn't really say anything. He is playing the triangle. Yes, he is. The child, yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Oh well. Oh well. I mean, today the humans have been in all shapes and sizes. Lovely people, incredibly rude people, people who don't know where the hell they're standing and paying attention. You know, I mean, like there are people who walked out into the avenue right by Brooklyn Bridge Park today, and you would have believe me, Ron, I wanted to do that. And by the way, everyone here is pretty much already following Duty Ron, but if you haven't already, do me a favor, follow Duty Ron. He is a retired New York City police detective, giving you shared on a public post. All right, nice. So give him a follow, folks, if you're not following already. Keeping a straight talk from a retired New York City detective. I'll see you later. Thank you so much, Josh. Yeah, I got another 15 more minutes and I go back to work. Then we go back to work, make more money because it's the summertime. And then I'm going to go home, eat some dinner, and hopefully go to bed early. I don't want to go home, take a nap, then wake up at like what I did last night. I woke up at like 10, 11 o'clock, and I was up until like 3. Not good. I have no idea, Abby. I'm looking at my location across the street right now to see if I can see anyone. I don't know how many I have. I know on schedule we had nobody, so if God really loves me today, I'll have nobody scheduled on my 4 o'clock tour, and I can just go straight home. I will get another cup of coffee and go home. Which, by the way, I gave up. I don't drink Starbucks anymore. So I don't drink Starbucks anymore. You're on 2.5 hours sleep? Nice. I know the air conditioning keeps me up. I'll see you later, Duty Run. Be safe, man. Everyone follow Duty Run. Do me a favor. If you're watching this on a replay, open up that chat box, click the 3 little dots to the right-hand side of Duty Ron's comment, and give him a follow. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when he goes on. He is really playing that triangle right now. But I no longer drink Starbucks because I had one.
Cash out of here. No.
See, if you take a picture of him, he wants money. He wants money if he wants. If you get him on camera, he wants money. He screams at you cash. Holy crap. All my tours are 2 hours long. All of my tours are 2 hours long. He just freaked out this tourist. And that's that was the thing, other funny thing. If you watch my Instagram live, I had this woman literally at 2 feet from my face take a picture of me. Don't stick cameras in New Yorkers' faces. That's incredibly rude, folks. Yes, his approach is outstanding. His approach is outstanding. But I'm telling you, you don't stick cameras in people's faces like that because you don't know how New Yorkers are going to behave.
They'll attack you, especially if you got the money. I'm a professional trying to get over.
Yes.
With my looks, all right? This ain't no free show. They look at my face.
This guy's on level 11. But yeah, this woman literally sticks a camera, and then it has a flash on. To top it off. Yeah, he came over, is walking away now. I'm focusing on you guys. I'm focusing on my magic mirror here. Yeah, it's like a movie. It's New York. It is what it is. He's really working the benches right now. As long as they don't get aggressive. Oh, I know, and get really angry. Yes, yes, absolutely. But yeah, don't stick cameras in people's faces and try to get, life shots or whatever. Exactly, magic mirror, the romper room. Whenever I have this little device thing here going, it's my magic mirror. So I can look inside and say, I see Native New Yorker, I see Gail, I see Abby, I see Susie May, I see Jackie, I see 80s Music Fan, I see Chrissy, I see Griff, I see Duty Ron. It's my magic mirror. My teacher was Miss Molly, WWOR Channel 9. And then before Miss Molly, I watched my Gumby. And it was a glorious time. What happened the other? Yes, we had lots of weather the other night. It happens. I was not in a blackout. We did get a heavy thunderstorm. But hey, it's summertime. It's what we have. It's what happens here in New York. The infrastructure is 100 years old. It might fail. Exactly, Boosie. Yeah, punch for you to crap here. Yeah. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes it has to be that way. Unfortunately. 10 more minutes and I got to go back to work. Yeah, the blackout was all right. I never lost power. Good to see you there, Cecilia. You know, I was getting a lot of messages saying, do you have power and all that. A couple of things about Brooklyn. Brooklyn is huge. Almost 3 million people live in Brooklyn. And around 30,000 customers, so around 100,000 people, intentionally got their electricity cut off in order to save the rest of the network. So people in Flatlands, Canarsie, Starrett City, Southeast Brooklyn lost electricity. I live in Southwest Brooklyn. We never lost electricity the whole time. Our lights did flicker, but we never lose electricity. In Bay Ridge in particular, we never lose electricity. It takes a lot for us to lose electricity. And when we do lose electricity, it's, Bed-Stuy. I mean, all of the eastern side lost electricity intentionally. So it was, let's keep moving here. 10 more minutes, and I gotta go back to work. Let's go over to the office and see what's cooking over there and see what's happening. It's time to move. Time to move. Time to move, because we got characters like that wandering around. In 1977, we had a big blackout. I was here for 2003 when all of the Northeast lost electricity. That was kind of crazy. All of the Northeast and Canada lost electricity, and that was kind of amazing. But you know, it's funny. Once again, like over where I live in Bay Ridge, we only lost electricity in 2003. We only lost electricity for about 12 hours or 14 hours. How many people on my tour usually? Well, we have a max of 15, but I'm willing to take up to 20 if I have somebody help me out. The biggest tour I ever led over the Brooklyn Bridge by myself was 23 people. And the most people ever took over with help at this point, it's like 43? Something stupid crazy like that. 43 people who want to go over the bridges. And bridges, we don't just do the Brooklyn. We do Manhattan Bridge also. Let's see. We'll hang out here in the middle of Park Row for a little bit. Yeah, 23. The most I ever took over by myself. That is not fun. I can't give proper attention to people when it's that many people. So today I'm thinking of Steve Brody. Yesterday, on the 23rd of July, 1886, Steve Brody jumped from the Brooklyn Bridge into the East River. His sensational dive immortalized in a Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny cartoon called Bowery Bugs. But more importantly, Steve Brody was kind of an uneducated man. He never went to school, never really liked school. And he was a newsie. He was a newsboy. Yes, you do, Chrissy. Yes, you do. He was a news guy. He was a newsie. And right where we're standing right now, this is Park Row. This is where all the newspapers were. But more importantly, and I believe it was 1882, when he was still a teenager, there was a fire in this very building. This is called the Potter Building. This building was completed in 1882, so I think the building was a year old, maybe 1883. There was a fire in this building, and Steve Brody, what he did was he climbed a telephone pole that was here, and he gave a rope. He handed a rope to the people who were up in the upper floors here, saving countless lives. And that's how he kind of got his notoriety. And then eventually, you know, he wanted to be famous for the sake of being famous. That's when he did his stunt, jumping off of the Brooklyn Bridge on July 23rd, 1886. Turned 40, awesome. Happy birthday, Susie May. The day Steve Brody jumped from the Brooklyn Bridge. Oh my God. But I was listening to, the latest Bowery Boys podcast, which talks about Steve Brody. And I literally was walking up to work today, looking at this building, thinking about what Steve Brody did And I got very emotional. I was like, wow, he helped people survive. This is a fireproof building. This is one of these new fireproof buildings here. He saved people's lives. Kind of amazing. But let's do it for Susie May, because she's always been a good viewer. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Susie May in Vermont. Happy birthday to you. And here's a gold statue. Just for Susie May. Let's show it. There it is. The statue of civic virtue. She is the third tallest statue in New York City. She is made of copper, clad in 24-karat gold leaf, and she's holding up a crown. The crown is for the 5 boroughs here in New York City. The crown has 5 points in it, one for each of our boroughs. And that gold statue is for you, Susie May. Happy birthday. From Park Row. I know I've been a little lazy making videos lately, but it's kind of tough. I work and then I come home and I basically go to sleep. Me and my wife have been sleeping a lot lately. We have been sleeping a lot. I think between the two of us, we slept like 15, 16 hours the other day. Monday, because Monday I want to do a radio show. Yes, this is the Potter Building right here, but no little elves on top. No little elves on top, sorry. That was Philippe Petit, and that was 1970. I want to say 1977 again, maybe even earlier. Great movie called Man on Wire about that little stunt he did. As I stand here in the middle of Park Row, people taking babies out in baby seats, which it's not fun on the Brooklyn Bridge having a baby in a baby seat going over the bridge. More than welcome, Susie May. Just gotta monitor the crowd here. I definitely have a few people, I have a feeling. I can feel like I have a few people on my ride. Hopefully it's not a big crowd. Heat does make you tired. Yeah, me and my wife have been sleeping. I mean, my wife has been working inside some apartment that's barely even constructed. So there's like no windows and there's like no heat. Obviously there's no air conditioning. Uh-oh. Oh my God. Okay. Tourists, I'm telling you, the tourists are acting weird today. So I guess one of the sisters just threw an iced coffee at her other sister. Bloody fucking hell! They're like arguing in the streets. What is in the air today? Like, what is up with people's behavior today? There's like a lot of shitty human behaviors on display today. And I, for one, it's making me nuts. Let's see, these two people on my tour. Yeah, I'm not gonna walk out into the street. They just assume I'm gonna walk out into the street because they think I'm not paying attention to anything. Exactly. That's why I like the winter more than the summertime. It's easier to escape the cold than the heat. I mean, Griff, it's like they're really coming out of the woodwork today. They're really coming out of the woodwork today. Just really shitty behavior. Just real shitty behavior today. It is what it is. Let's see. These guys on the tour? Or are they just renting? I want to see lanyards. Oh, he has a receipt. I think I have two. I think I have at least two people. Yes. Absolutely. God bless my wife. She was willing to marry me. You passed the building I'm standing at. Awesome. They're not enjoying hump day. I mean, this is the day for camels. You know? This is the day for camels. All right, let me go back to work. It's 45 past the hour. Thank you so much for killing time with me here in City Hall Park, Lower Manhattan. Time for me to go to work. If I don't have an afternoon tour. Yeah, I see people walking in there like they know something. I want to say if I don't have an afternoon tour, I'm going to do a radio show, but I'm pretty sure now I have a couple of people on my ride here. All right. Thank you so much, Avi. All right, off we go. Now, by the way, the child, getting back to the beginning, the child was standing right there. The 456 train is right behind me. Good to see you, Robert. I'm gonna get out of here. Have a fantastic New York day, whether you live here or not. Want you to hug your loved ones, cherish the moments, and good afternoon, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. Do me a favor, go to the Bowery Boys podcast. Check out that podcast about Steve Brody. He saved people's lives in this building right here. I'll see you later, folks. Stay in the air conditioning, stay in the heat if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And I'll talk to you guys soon, folks. Bye-bye.